There's something very few women dare to say out loud, what it really feels like when your hair starts falling out. This isn't just about looks, it's about identity, about looking in the mirror and not fully recognizing the woman staring back at you. And while it might seem like a superficial issue, it's not, because hair, though we rarely admit it, has, for years, been a very visible part of how we feel on the inside. When it starts falling out, an invisible part of our confidence begins to crumble too. What's strange is how rarely this gets mentioned when we talk about menopause. We hear about hot flushes, insomnia, weight gain, but no one talks about the silent grief that comes when your hair stops showing up the way it used to. And yes, it is grief, because it's not just about hair, it's about saying goodbye to a version of yourself that no longer exists. About dealing with the feeling that something is slipping through your fingers. And in that loss, confidence, desire, and energy often slip away too. It's not that we want magazine perfect hair. We just want to feel like ourselves again. There are days when you get dressed, put on makeup, try to feel good, but then you notice your scalp looks more exposed than usual and everything falls apart. Days when you don't want to go out because you don't know how to hide it. And that's when the cycle begins. Shame isolates you, and that isolation dulls your spark. And that's not a battle treatments alone can win. The first step is to admit this hurts, that you're not weak or shallow for feeling this way. Your pain is valid, and hair loss at this stage isn't just a cosmetic issue, it's emotional, hormonal, symbolic. Because menopause doesn't just change your body, it changes your place in the world. And when that shift is reflected in a mirror that no longer shows the same image, it hits even harder. You know what's even harder? That often we don't even realize how much it's affecting us. We silently change our routines, pretending nothing's wrong, but something is wrong. Inside, doubts build up, sadness, frustration, a sense of injustice, because you're doing everything to look after yourself. And suddenly it feels like your body's betraying you, even on the outside. And that hurts, even if no one says it. What wears you down the most isn't the hair in your brush. It's how no one talks about this honestly. It's all brushed off with it's normal, or just use this, as if it's a minor issue, but it's not. Because when your appearance changes, so does the way you connect with others. You become less confident, less spontaneous, you become more critical of yourself, and that's exhausting. That's why today I want to speak from a different place, not to sell you anything or convince you of a magic fix, but to let you know that what you're going through makes sense. You're not alone. And yes, there are ways to feel like yourself again, but they don't start in a pharmacy. They start with how you speak to yourself. Because while your hair may be what everyone sees, the real transformation begins in what no one sees. Something powerful happens when you stop fighting your reflection and start looking at yourself with more compassion. Accepting that your worth doesn't depend on having the same hair you once had is an act of liberation. Every line, every change in your hair tells the story of a woman who has overcome so much. You don't need to wait for your hair to grow back to feel like yourself again. You can start now from exactly where you are. The environment, however, doesn't help. We are constantly bombarded by false beauty ideals, filters, extensions, retouched faces, and perfect hair. And you, standing in front of the mirror without edits, can feel like you don't fit in. That's why a key part of regaining confidence is filtering out those messages. Stepping away from what makes you feel less than and surrounding yourself with voices that are real and kind. Speaking to yourself with respect. Thanking your body for all it does for you, that's more transformative than any cosmetic. The way you see yourself begins with how you speak to yourself. It's not about denying the pain of hair loss, but about facing it with honesty and allowing yourself to explore new forms of expression, without fear or shame. Reinvention doesn't always mean a radical makeover. Sometimes it's as simple as no longer hiding, as daring to take a photo, to not cover up so much, to say out loud, "Yes, I'm changing." And that's okay. These small gestures are acts of self-love that, while subtle, have a huge impact on how you feel. Confidence isn't a fixed destination. It's a journey with ups and downs. You'll have good days and tougher ones, and both are valid. What matters isn't being perfect, but not giving up. That's what truly builds strength, carrying on even when you don't feel strong. What few people realize is that the emotional stress of hair loss can actually make it worse. It's a self-feeding cycle. That's why it's crucial to find ways to calm your mind, to breathe, to rest, to care for yourself without judgment. Your body responds to how you treat it, and a gentle gaze can be more powerful than any treatment. It's also essential to do things that reconnect you with yourself, not out of duty, but for pure pleasure. A walk, a quiet afternoon, saying no without guilt, sleeping better. All of this, even if it seems small, helps restore your inner balance. And many women notice that when they begin caring for themselves from within, their hair often responds too. Because in the end, what matters most isn't whether your hair goes back to how it used to be, it's how you choose to live through the change. The real power lies in recognizing yourself, respecting yourself, and allowing yourself to shine through the transformation. Your essence is still there, you just need to reclaim it and celebrate it as it deserves.